From the PEP Radio newsroom, this is the hourly news blast. LGBTQ Nation is reporting the Trump administration is halting federal money to local HIV/AIDS community groups. Funding for HIV services is the likely victim of a longtime Republican goal of devolving power to the states. The Trump administration notified the Centers for Disease Control last month that it would cease a years-long community grant program funding local organizations that provide HIV testing, referrals for care, PrEP and Doxy PEP, and outbreak response measures. About 96 organizations are currently recipients of the direct federal grants worth $46 million, roll call reported. The Office of Management and Budget, or OMB, under the direction of longtime Heritage Foundation official Russel Vought, has stripped that money from the CDC and is redirecting it as supplemental funding to state health agencies, which will then decide whether or not the money goes to the same HIV-focused local organizations. For decades, direct federal investment in community-based HIV prevention has helped trusted local organizations reach people in communities that traditional health systems too often fail to serve. AIDS United, a DC nonprofit focused on ending the HIV/AIDS epidemic, said in a statement condemning the decision. "We cannot end the HIV epidemic by dismantling the trusted community systems that make prevention possible," Carl Bologna, the group CEO, said. "This decision threatens access to testing, PrEP, PEP, and care, and will ultimately lead to preventable HIV transmission, program closures, and higher healthcare costs." AIDS United and other HIV/AIDS-focused providers watched with dismay as the Trump administration dismantled similar HIV prevention efforts overseas through the dismemberment of USAID and scaling back PEPFAR, the president's emergency plan for AIDS relief. President Donald Trump's own stated desire to end the HIV/AIDS epidemic in his first term is another casualty of that slashed funding, and the OMB's latest action is contrary to that goal, AIDS United said. Federal, state, and local government partners all have vital roles to play in HIV prevention, the group continued. But the United States cannot end the HIV epidemic without significant financial support for community-based organizations that are connected to, trusted by, and staffed by people from the communities most affected by HIV. Ending the direct grants puts trusted community services at risk, particularly those serving Black and Latino communities, LGBTQ plus people, people in the South, and others disproportionately affected by HIV. Carl Schmidt, executive director of the DC-based HIV-positive Hepatitis Policy Institute, agreed that handing funding decisions to the states could break a successful chain of prevention efforts. While DC and other blue state governments may already have open lines to local groups, other states and jurisdictions don't have that relationship with the community-based organizations, he told the Washington Blade. "It depends on the state," Schmidt said, adding, "Not all states send their money to the communities that really need it most, and not all states are fast in getting money to the community-based organizations." Another factor that could slow down community groups' efforts, the loss of steep drug discounts available to recipients of the federal grants. They could still qualify as a subgrantee from a state, Schmidt said, but what if they don't get that grant again? They wouldn't be able to qualify to obtain the drugs at the discounted price, he said. Even while condemning the administration for the change, AIDS United seemed resigned to the new arrangement, asking state and local health departments receiving supplemental funds to prioritize continued support for the community-based organizations currently delivering these services and prevent disruptions in care and prevention. That's the News Blast for this hour. PEP Radio is available on the Live 365 app, the homepage at paequality.com, Roku, Alexa, and wherever you find streaming radio. Up next, we have the Meadville area weather forecast here on PEP Radio.